Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
I don't know why you're pointed like that. You could be pointing towards me.
I don't want to.
It's very awkward. I'm
gonna look at this. Right.
You're literally looking like away from me. I moved the chair so I could look at you.
Well, yeah, but that makes sense.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
That's right. You
specifically.
You know exactly who
Not you.
No.
Yeah.
Out of the way. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
You.
Not Ryan, the other Ryan.
Yeah.
That is a really funny through line on our Discord.
I've enjoyed what's been happening over on the Discord lately. Yeah. The barely contained mayhem of the Discord.
Yeah, there's like a paper thin wall around it containing it. We have a review.
Yeah, baby.
109. Holy shit.
My God.
Can we be stopped?
No.
You had all the clues. You could have stopped us.
Yeah. The clue was that we kept putting episodes out and begging for reviews.
Yeah, you could have saved the content. You had all the clues.
No. I mean, to be honest, because we answer listener questions, you could argue that most of the content is their fault too.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
There's an argument to be made where none of this is on us.
I mean, that's always been my policy.
Yeah.
I move through life.
Oh, don't worry. I have an airtight defense for my ego.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
But I caught you on the camera.
It wasn't me.
I was wondering where that was. You like really fumbled your way into the finish line there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't me.
Well, because I was
so
like,
confident.
I was like, do I do the voice? And I was like, just go. And then I was just like, just go low. And then I was like, wow. Shocker.
Oh, see, is it racist? I don't know. How can it be racist if it's that fun?
How could it be racist if it's that bad?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, nothing bad.
I ask you.
Nothing
Your
bad.
Honor.
Nothing. Racist has never been anything bad.
Is it racist if I'm bad at it? It's such a bad defense.
Counter, Your Honor. I didn't do it successfully, so.
Ergo. Yeah. This is a murder trial?
He's still alive.
He has a point. You walk.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Go get him, Slooker.
I believe in you.
This is a 5-star review from Apple Podcast USA.
I'm not that excited about it.
Yeah. I want this to be Apple Podcast Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah, from Jürgen Florgenson.
Yeah. Oh, God. He's going to win the day. His hockey team's going to be the best.
Mighty Ducks 2?
Yeah.
Is that where you're going with this?
I started watching...
Is that Mighty Ducks 2 with the Icelandic team, or is that Mighty Ducks 3?
I feel like it's 2.
Right.
I started watching the new Disney show.
Oh, that's right.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. I mean, if you liked the show, if you liked the movies and you went back and still liked them, then you'll love this. Like,
sure.
It's very much that. I think the worst part is actually a person who I normally like, which is Lorelai or whatever from
Lauren Graham.
Yeah, Lauren Graham. I don't really love her character in this, but otherwise, I just think the character, I think who she's trying to be is maybe she's a little beyond that at this point.
Right. You're saying she's playing younger than she is.
I didn't say that.
Right.
I'm just saying that maybe it's not a perfect fit.
I don't know. Men in Hollywood seem to have no problem just rehashing the same old thing as they get older.
So from Apple Podcast USA,
like you're the problem, Richard.
From the subject matter, Court of Owls. I just got that book.
He knows.
Yeah. Oh God.
This review that came in months ago.
This is a review that came in months ago from inside the house.
Yeah.
The future.
Yes.
Who they go on to say, they all go on to say this is what this is from Court of Owls. The subject is this is ...
Okay.
The actual review is this is what Fat Man on Batman used to be, but way better, funnier, and more Canadian-er.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, next time there's like a weird digital red carpet premiere for an HBO Max direct release, this guy's going to host it.
That's right. I'm going to be the captain of the IMDb boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you need like a cutaway that isn't like a comic creator in your documentary about a character? Then you cut to me.
I'm going to start smoking weed and acting like I'm 12 and writing movies that are like that.
Yeah, cock-knocker.
Yeah, that's right. They go on to say, I love when they say a boot. You say a boot.
I don't. I say the word
You
that I won't say right now.
About.
About.
There.
Like an idiot.
You do have the more quintessential Canadian accent.
Yeah, because I'm more of a good old boy than you are.
Yeah. You're just a good old boy. You know, boys will be boys.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, boys will
That's
be boys.
not what I meant. Your Honor, objection.
No, but I didn't mean it that way, so it doesn't count.
You know what? Fuck you. Thank you for the review, Court of Owls.
They finish off by saying, love the comedy and learn along the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we should pack it in. We're never going to do better than that.
You always ask me to pack it in.
Yeah, please, can you? Well, no, I asked you to fold it in because I'm just tired of waiting for you to get there.
Look, it's not you. I had a big meal.
Jesus Christ. That's so vile right off the bat.
Yeah. For a show that's usually so clean and it's just so like not like us, you know? We got no news. We're going.
I have one news.
You have a news?
I have a new.
I
have one new for you.
Yes, many new is news.
Yes.
This is a single new.
I have one new.
Yes. Tell me the new.
So remember how Helen Mirren got cast as the villain
That's old.
for Shazam 2?
Yeah, that's old.
Right.
That's not a new.
But today,
this could be
this
a new.
is the new.
Oh, okay.
Lucy Liu has also been cast as a villain.
Really?
Yes. And will also be a daughter of Atlas. So basically this movie sounds like Atlas or the Daughters of Atlas are the ones like coming after Shazam.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Because both Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are playing Daughters of Atlas.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Interesting that the first two villain castings we got were both Daughters of Atlas, not like children or proteges of each of the gods.
Yeah, just
so
Atlas.
I mean, but if anything, it feels like it's giving it a little focus. Like it's not all of the gods revolting against Shazam using their powers or something. Is
that a thing?
I mean, not really in the comics. The Daughters of Atlas aren't really a thing in DC.
Oh, interesting.
They're a thing in real mythology.
Oh.
So the movie's already kind of doing its own thing.
I mean, I'm glad that it is.
But Atlas is a character in DC.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see, like, are they going to bring any of, like, the Jack Kirby kind of Atlas stuff in there? Or are they just going to be like, yeah, we're not really going to see Atlas, but this thing from mythology is now going to be the driving force in our movie. I think that's cool.
This is the part where Atlas has to go find the tail for his old friend
Jack
Eeyore.
Kirby does not sound like Winnie the Pooh. Doesn't matter how old he was.
Oh,
I watched the same thing you've watched.
No.
He does not.
It was a different thing.
He definitively does not.
Oh, bother.
There is a weird part in that interview where Jack Kirby just looks straight to camera, though, and he goes, "It wasn't me." Wow.
With Wario?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Sammy banging on the counter.
Oh, you got to it first. Yeah, that's full circle.
But yeah, that was my new.
That's an interesting new. I mean, I haven't heard anything Lucy Liu's been in forever.
I think she's still on TV. Like, I think Elementary is still on.
Is that show still on?
I think it might be. And she's on something else. She's been on TV for the last like decade.
I haven't watched anything with her on it.
Yeah,
forever.
But then also she was in like the Kung Fu Panda movies, but those are animated, so you
didn't see her.
That's hard to track. And then
I
do think it's been a while since she's been in like a big movie. I don't want to say a movie because she's probably done movies in the interim.
The last thing I remember her really like being in is like Futurama.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the last thing I like actively was like, oh, Lucy Liu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. On to something else that's interesting.
Sure.
The second episode, the second week of Prescribed REIDing Month.
That's right.
Yeah.
You choose the books,
That's
which
right.
is like everything I've ever wanted.
I don't like that part of it.
And then we read them. And I right off the bat,
Yeah.
I want to say I enjoyed this week's book much more than last week's book.
Yeah.
But I do want to say it's weird that 2 books in a row now, you've made me endure a face-sitting joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say it was better received this time.
It's also more explicit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
His head's definitely the seat, and he has somebody with a dress on to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the book that you picked for this week?
This is Plastic Man's On the Lamb.
That's right. So it's the first 6 first 6 issues of the Kyle Baker Plastic Man run. Cartoonist Kyle Baker did the story and the art for this series, and you could get like I got the big compendium of like 20 issues or whatever.
Yeah, I want to get that.
But the On the Lamb, if you have it, it's just the first 6, just the opening arc of this run.
But like a pretty full arc, like it,
there's a lot in it.
Yeah, it's a full story, like with like a lot of ups and downs and stuff. Like
yeah. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, the general plot is that Plastic Man has to investigate a crime for which Eel O'Brien, his former criminal identity before he became a superhero, has been framed. So he is now like investigating himself, but he's also like, I don't know, did I do it? And he's like trying to keep people off the trail that he was Eel O'Brien.
Yeah.
Then that all kind of comes apart.
They find out that
so then people think Plastic Man is the criminal. And,
so he has to run away from the law.
Yeah. On the Lamb.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the very kind of broad sense of it. You picked it, but you also picked it without reading it.
Yes.
Which is true of all of this month.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you think?
I loved this book.
It's really good.
It's fun. I really loved it. I laughed out loud multiple times reading this book.
Yeah, it's very funny. I mean, very well suited to that style of like cartoon.
Well, it's Hanna-Barbera sort of styles.
It's it's the cartoonism, right? Yeah. It's like what you would see in like a Smurfs strip or like a it's like Asterix and Obelix. Like it feels more like bande dessinée, like comic strips than it does like comic books, right? Like
it's
there's
sort
something
of
so fun about that, I think.
It's very much like the 90s take on Hanna-Barbera design. So when you're thinking about like your Ren and Stimpies and things like that sort of the world that it lives in, with sort of the painted backgrounds, but then the like sort of like unnatural body shapes and sort of it's like blocky, sharp, and rounded figures.
It does kind of feel almost like cell animation because there is like that distinction between how the backgrounds are done and how the characters are.
Yeah, it's like brushed background, like brush painted backgrounds and stuff. Yeah, it's very much intended to be like the Hanna-Barbera.
It's a very, very cool look.
Like almost Fleischer sort of modernism, but a bit beyond that, similar to like our Jay Gonzo like characters.
Yes, actually, extremely.
Yeah. That's sort of the idea. That's that Hanna-Barbera Fleischer sort of stuff. It's a bit more advanced than Fleischer, but still, I loved the artwork a lot. It makes so much sense for Plastic Man.
Like, it works really well. Like it's funny. We see last week, for an example, we were talking about Jim Lee. We were talking about how he does like action and movement and the kinetic stuff really well. But then you look at a book like this one and it's just so different, but you still get the sense of movement. Like Jim Lee is good at showing you like the movement in progress, but even just like panel to panel with Plaz like changing shape, and then like Morgan saying like, I can hear you squeaking like a balloon animal every time you change shape. You feel it. You can hear it. Like, it's such a different. You still get the sense of movement, even though it's like such a vastly different approach. Not even just a different style, but just a different, like, what should we show in each panel versus.
Yeah, absolutely. The story, it's a very much like you could, like, watching it, I was like, oh, this should have been a Saturday morning cartoon at some point. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, like those DC Nation shorts, some of them have this feel. The very cartoony kind of thing. Like I think some of them are. There might be Plastic Man ones for those DC Nation things too.
Yeah, actually. Possible for sure. It also to me it initially comes off as a little kid, like childish sort of, but then they put in these little moments of darkness and like
I will say, the thing I wasn't expecting in this book is how ACAB this book is.
How do you mean?
This book takes every opportunity to remind you that cops and organizations of authority are corrupt, or at the very least arbitrary.
Yeah.
Which is, like, I think not what I was ready for.
No, I mean, especially from 2004,
They're just so glib about, like, you know, like, oh, well, we didn't really have any evidence, but, like, it's my break time, or, like, whatever I'm making something up, but that's kind of, like, the attitude of, like, a lot of, like, the cops or the FBI agent or stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a moment at the very end that's like that, too.
There's a lot of self-referential things that are just, like, where if you were reading it, you'd be... You'd be about to poke a hole in the story, and then the story would go, "We've got this."
Yeah.
And poke the hole itself, and then go, like, "Cops, am I right?"
Yeah.
And then, like, move on.
It's crazy.
It's really funny.
But, I mean, that's the thing. There's these little moments of darkness that are used through humor, but are pitch black.
Yes,
like,
extremely.
There's a moment where, so they catch Plastic Man.
Yes.
They put him inside of a bag, and then they realize, well, they're like, oh, he could potentially get out. Let's put him inside of another bag.
Yeah.
And then as they're sort of doing that, they're like, oh, wait, can he breathe? Like,
yeah, and they brought him down to the morgue, like, to also freeze him. The coroner is like, I work here so that I don't have deaths on my conscience. Like, you have to find out if he can breathe. Morgan says, like, did the warrant say dead or alive? Like, they're being so casual and flippant with his life. But the book is also not taking that to be silly. The book is also like, no, like, Plaz might die here.
But then they also go, maybe we put him in a refrigerator?
Yeah.
Oh my, I literally gasped.
It's constantly being like, these people will take every shortcut.
Yeah.
They will all do their jobs not the way they're supposed to.
But I also took that as like a women in refrigerators comment.
I think that one is.
Yeah.
But...
Which I was
although
just like,
maybe the timeline doesn't line up for that in terms of when this came out versus when that
just
term
feels like
was
a
coined,
really arbitrary.
I also thought that
Yeah.
when that was said.
And
I think Woozy says that, right? We could put him in a
Yeah.
fridge or something. Well, I mean, the fridge thing had already happened. The term women in refrigerators may not have been coined, but the Alex DeWitt thing had definitely happened like a decade earlier.
It just feels like this is the character to make that reference to too. So
Yes.
it's like
they're definitely referencing that.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in this book. And then also, like, you know, Plastic Man has this history in comics of, like, writers always make him this kind of, like, almost quagmire-y, horny sometimes. Like,
I mean, there was a moment in here.
Not
for sure.
always, but that's always in there. It's in this book too. So the one thing that I mentioned,
yes,
when he meets Morgan, this cop,
yes,
that he's supposed to be partnered with,
CIA agent
or FB, or whatever.
Yeah.
But he meets her and she's very attractive, so he turns himself into a bike where his face is the seat, and he says, "Want to ride?" And she has none of it.
No, she kicks his ass.
Good for her. But then also later, they're in like a room with the walls compressing. He turns himself into a jack, and it's not specifically, but the position of the handle that would like pump the jack is meant to look like it's his dick. And she even says, "I'm not touching that."
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Like, it happens 2 or 3 times in this book where Plaza's like, "Get my dick wet."
I mean, we're here. Yeah. That's
that stuff I can kind of do without it being so skeevy, but it's also just, it's insane to me that this book is like, it's juggling very silly things. Like, we've got like original kind of feeling like Plaz and Woozy winks, and Woozy is like, he's doing his usual thing where he like stumbles into doing the right thing or whatever, right? And then we're also dealing with the fact that like Woozy probably is like legitimately alcoholic.
Yeah.
And then we're also dealing with like Plaz like left his wife, you learn.
Yeah.
And then we're also dealing with, he has nightmares about his criminal life.
Yeah.
But then we're also dealing with, he turns himself into a bicycle seat. And then we're also dealing with the cops will get him whether it's right or not. And then we're also dealing with people taking the law into their own hands and police brutality. And then we're also dealing with like a grieving mother gets assaulted at a funeral.
Jesus.
And then while she is crying on the casket, other stuff just keeps happening. Like, this book does such an insane job of being like, ha ha ha, like fun, silly cartoon, and then also like the
stab,
the grimmest shit ever.
Like, just like he literally has this like introspective moment where he's just like, I can't believe I let him die.
Yeah,
like how can I forgive myself? Like, this very dark moment.
Then he'll like go undercover and he'll get found out and they'll wind him up and he'll fly out like a toy airplane. Like, it's also silly. It's both at the same time.
Yeah.
It's so insane.
So we find out that they do like a bit of an origin story for him.
Yes.
And he goes, they show him like doing a crime. He ends up getting hit with some acid and then he ends up becoming Plastic Man, but he ends up waking up after he gets hit with acid in this like monk monastery sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's where he sort of reforms.
Yes. And he goes
leaves
back
behind his life of crime. He stops being Eel O'Brien.
Yes.
He becomes Plastic Man.
While he's on the lam, he ends up escaping back to that same monastery.
Yeah.
Which you find out that it's actually like a monastery that trains people to become like, they get so much inner light that they become superheroes.
But did you catch that it's a Fantastic Four joke?
No, I didn't.
Because the three other monks, one has like intangibility, invisibility powers.
Flame.
There's ephemeral monk who has that power. There's flame monk or burning monk or whatever who has fire powers, and then there's
the beast guy.
I don't think it's called strong monk, but
it's something basically
something like that. And he's he's the thing. And at one point he says like, it's something time, not clobbering, but it's like.
That's
he
very
says something
funny.
else.
I didn't even think about
that. It's a Fantastic Four joke.
That's really good.
Which is very funny.
What I love was because they basically go so pitch black, and and this whole time you're like, who's framing him, and then you find out it was this cop that he was prepared with.
Yeah.
And at the very end, you find out that it was his wife.
The cop was his wife because basically he got injured as Eel O'Brien and did not come back.
Yeah.
And then, but he survived and came back as Plastic Man and just never checked in.
No, just like bailed.
So then this wife found out that they were the same and then orchestrated the whole thing to get back at him. And then at the end was like, oh, I guess it's fine.
What I love was they go so pitch black, and then at the end, and you find out this woman like killed a guy and tried to kill the chief, and at the end, she's just like, oh, you're fine. Oh, can you forgive me?
But the book gets away with it because there's all these instances where like someone in the book will be like, all right, you take some time with your exposition. I'm going to go get a coffee.
They literally say that. It's very funny.
They say stuff like that. And I think the same thing happens at the end where they go like, we're running out of time here. Like,
but I love it because
it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, that's a lazy ending. Like, it fits with how the book is.
Oh no,
structured.
it is. It's like, funny.
It's so funny.
It's very funny because she basically goes like, oops, like, okay, everything stop. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the chief was just like, okay, but you still killed that guy. And she's like, oh no, he was actually already dead.
Oh yeah, what she says was, he was already dead. I just dragged him there and bashed his head in.
Which is so funny. And then she goes, okay, but you like Plastic Man, she just killed your friend you've been like mourning over. And he goes, oh, it's totally fine. One of this monk just resurrected him.
Yeah, ephemeral monk brought him back. Yeah, you just look over. Because at one point, Woozy does die.
I know.
And then And then, you just look over. He's like, oh, yeah, ephemeral monk brought me back. And he's like, well, I guess that's everything wrapped up.
Yeah, I guess you're fine. That's how the law works.
Yeah. Wild.
So good. I was like, holy shit. Are you kidding me?
It's really masterful.
Yeah.
It's a great, great, great book. I mean, we're talking about lots of stuff that we like here, obviously. Was there anything in there that didn't jive? Let's say other than the face sitting thing.
Yeah, because that part I didn't love.
Bring, pussy eating bike here. Hop on.
Goes.
It's a bicycle built for poon, if you know.
Bike, pussy. Yeah. We're going for the ride, but the pussy has bags.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I actually don't know if there's anything I didn't really like about it. You know what part I really loved was when the Justice League shows up and they're animated like realistic.
Yeah, they look like real. And there's a couple of moments where even Plastic Man is being serious and he's drawn. It makes me think of like on Teen Titans Go when they do like the serious hero thing and their animation style changes.
But then even like Batman suddenly like starts going into his whole like monologue about his parents and like Superman's like, we lost you there for a second. Like,
yeah. They're watching and because it's right like the reveal that Plastic Man is Eel O'Brien.
Yeah,
that they're one and the same. And Batman is like, he was a criminal. So criminals took my parents. You start seeing the things he says like, my hope fell in the drain like so many pearls in that alley. Like he's going, and then Superman is like, Bats, we kind of need you here, buddy. You see Batman's just like been staring into the middle distance. He's like, sorry.
But what's crazy is like, this is from 2004.
Also after that whole scene, it's revealed that every single one of those Justice Leaguers was like an android.
Really?
This wasn't the real league.
Really?
It never comes up again.
I don't even remember seeing that part.
Yeah. we see classic sort of Plastic Man villain Red Herring.
Yeah. That's right.
Who is a villain who only interferes with unrelated criminal investigations just to throw Plastic Man off the trail.
So insane.
Which is very funny. I thought we were going to see Dr. Dome in this classic Plastic Man villain. Because there's a couple of bits where you see someone in shadow, and
yeah.
I think you're meant to think it's Dr. I think you're meant to make that leap, which is kind of funny.
But otherwise, I don't think I had any issues with it.
But it's bringing a lot of the classic original Plastic Man stuff. Plastic Man is a character that's been around since 1941.
Yeah, wow, that's
old
crazy.
Character. This is Plastic Man's 80th anniversary this year.
Wow.
Yeah. But Plastic Man worked with the FBI. He, Woozy Winks was like his sidekick / best friend.
Yeah, that's a character I didn't really know about.
Yeah, Woozy Winks is interesting because he technically has a superpower, and the power is that nature will not allow harm to come to him, which is also why it's so brutal that he dies. I mean, you could argue that it's his power and Ephemeral Monk that bring him back to life, but he does have to die first.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Woozy kind of has the power of accidentally not getting hurt. It's sort of his...
I love that his name is even kind of like he's a drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, Woozy Winks.
That's very funny.
Yeah. He's got a real, like, wimpy kind of vibe to him. Like, I don't just mean the adjective. I mean, like, I'd gladly pay you Tuesday for like,
yes.
He's got that kind of vibe to him.
He does. He's I love that, like, even in the first scene with him in it, he, like, so the bad guy just like runs into his ass.
Yeah, he like accidentally stops the bad guy. That's how he's the sidekick. Yeah.
Because at first I thought it was just some stranger, and then I'm like, oh no, this is a...
But Woozy goes through like legitimate psychological turmoil. He's saying like, but if Plastic Man was a villain, then I've tied my whole identity to this thing. Like, what am I? And then he's like, yeah, it's this book is, I can't believe how silly it is. And then on a dime, it just goes to be like, oh yeah, this guy's having like a full-on identity crisis.
And somehow it works.
It works so well.
Like
it feels like the original kind of Jack Cole stuff a little bit.
It's really funny too. Like I laughed a lot. Like just like every page I was just like and it takes a lot for me to like laugh out loud at something that I'm reading.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is always harder to laugh out loud at that because it's such like you're already like in your head,
Yeah.
you know.
It was very funny. I just was like not expecting so much of it.
Man, I really enjoyed this.
Do you want to give it a ranking?
Yeah, we didn't do that last week, but
No.
I think you all know.
Yeah, there's not a ranking low enough.
I mean, I'd give it like a 1. There's some stuff that was fine.
Sure.
Yeah, how many capes do you give this?
I give this 5 capes.
I think I give it 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 100% suggest to people to read book.
Yes.
Without
really,
a doubt.
really terrific book.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe I hadn't read it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, I love this. Oh.
Yeah. No.
Redeemed.
Yeah, I know. God, I mean, listen, I was enjoying it, and then I was like, "So help me!" I got to that bicycle thing, and I was like,
I know.
"God damn it!" If
I
the
know.
rest of this book is just him
Pussy
making
eating?
like very stretchy fingers, going like, la, 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 like
What's very funny is, could you imagine if that was the like through line for all 4 weeks?
that would be hilarious.
I somehow found all of the books with pussy eating jokes.
That would be really, really funny.
It's the pussy eating quadrilogy.
Yeah, next week when we read Martian Puss Hunter.
It's very funny.
Oh God. Well, we got a ton of questions.
Yeah,
about this and about Plastic Man.
people were stoked about Plastic Man.
Should we get into it? I'm sure
Yeah.
we will come back to talking about different points of this book as we go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it, and we're starting with Twitter.
Twitter.
First question comes from Braydon. Yes, the donkey rises. Who asks, why does Batman have such high respect for Plastic Man given his history as an ex-con?
Well, yeah, I mean, in this book,
No.
it sends Batman to a very dark place
Yeah.
to learn that he's
He
an
was
ex-con,
not having a good
which
time.
is very funny. In general, though, I mean, Batman is a person who very obviously believes in second chances. Look
I mean,
at like
yeah.
Jean-Paul Valley, who was like such a violent, horrible Batman, and then
Mm-hmm.
keeps having this like reformation as Azrael and stuff like that. Batman believes in him. Jason, Red Hood,
Damian Wayne, like
Damian, even like now, if we take a real modern one, Ghostmaker, like all sorts of, like Clayface was part of the team in Detective Comics for a little bit there.
Yep.
Croc, Batman and Croc have a different kind of relationship than a lot of other, villains. Croc is often, he's a more sympathetic kind of victim than anything, right? Batman already has that in him. It is not that much of a stretch, Plastic Man's, heroism is documented. He is he silly? Yes, but he's doing the job. He's turning it around. And then also there are like books where they've teamed up, where they've helped each other with one. There's one where like Plastic Man, you learn that Plastic Man has a son that he's kind of like not been parenting.
Oh, geez.
And stuff like that. But then he learns that the son is getting involved in a gang, and Batman and Plastic Man sort of team up, and, Plastic Man trying to make things right. And, I think Batman sees that thing in him, right? I mean, what's the ultimate goal of Batman, right? Is it just incarceration, or is it like people should be a little bit better? Because otherwise the crime will just keep happening.
I mean, that's kind of the thing that people say about Batman.
It is, but and there's certain arguments to be made for that. But also, I think a thing of Batman is like, he also has very clearly inspired people to step up. That's why the Bat family is massive, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have all of these team ups and things like that. And I think, I think that I don't. Also, the type of ex-con that Eel O'Brien was. I mean, it's alluded to in the book we read that there's probably some murders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, Eel O'Brien is mostly a thief, a crook, like more along the lines of like the rogues in Central City than the Joker, right? Like he is not like poisoning the reservoir
No.
and doing shit like that, right? He was like, he's a crook.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also like he's not starting from an insane kind of
no. He's
point,
just a
know?
safe like
it's a
safe cracker and like
yeah, like that kind of thing. So I think that also kind of helps. He's not starting from like, well, but Batman, I'm a superhero. I know I killed 17 kids, but
yeah, I'm a good guy now.
Yeah, he's not starting from that point.
Oh, I just want to kill one more kid. Oh, it's so hard to hook Plastic Man. Calm down.
Keep it together. Keep it together.
I just want one more to get me through into the next year.
Jesus Christ.
No, he's good. Yeah, absolutely. So, but does he normally have a pretty like high respect for Plastic Man? Like in the
Oh yeah, and he also has like, I mean, I think you could make the argument too. He also has a little bit of like an awe or even a kind of fear of how powerful Plastic Man is.
Mm-hmm.
He literally has a line in, I think it's in the Obsidian Age, is the arc where we've talked about it before, where Plastic Man like survives 3,000 years on the bottom of the ocean kind of thing.
Yes.
And Batman says to someone like, he survived that long on the bottom of the ocean by himself. If you don't think he's one of the most powerful members of the Justice League, you're a moron.
Wow. That's crazy.
So I think Batman's got that.
Because there is a really funny scene in the book where they start talking about like they bring up Plastic Man and then they immediately just start talking about the other members of the Justice League and they're like, oh yeah, but like Superman and like, oh, where's Batman? And like,
yeah, but also there's like, it also happens when he's in the bag.
Yeah,
like the cops that are driving him are like, no, I think like so and so could beat him, or like, but
yeah.
They're talking about
who's more powerful, Superman or Martian Manhunter?
They're having that kind of talk. Also, those cops, they go like, "Is he dead? Should we check?" And then they open it up. Plastic Man escapes, and they immediately go, "You did it! You did it!" They punch each other, and then go to their superior and say, "He beat us up."
Oh,
like,
I know.
The book is such like a cops are bastards book.
It kind of rules.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It definitely takes the right side.
It does. It's just not where I'd expect it. I mean,
again, 2004. This book is so ahead of its time in so many ways. Like the type of humor in it, the like doing the like Batman dark parents thing is like
that joke killed me.
It's so ahead of its time. Like
because it is such a tangent. You're seeing something else, and then all of a sudden Batman is narrating, and you see like the pearls and shit. You're like, what am I reading? And then he has to snap back. It's such a good joke
because they also like don't make any of the other Justice Leaguers joke about themselves. Like he's the only one they do that to.
So good.
So it's very particular about the jokes that they put in because it's not just. It does feel jam-packed, but at the same time, if you read it, like it is well-balanced. Like it's not joke, and like every chance you get to try to make a joke, it's very particular about when it does make the joke, and the jokes always land.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, let's go to the next question.
All right.
From Chad Bokelman,
Bogle,
who asks, is it true that Plastic Man is possibly one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe in terms of invulnerability and lifespan? What stories support or dispute this?
So right out the gate, the one that we mentioned, the Obsidian Age, it's from Morrison's run on JLA.
Yeah.
In that story, the Justice League goes back in time 3,000 years to ancient Atlantis. And in the course of that story, Plastic Man is like shattered into a bunch of pieces and left on the ocean floor. And when the rest of the Justice League goes back to their time, he is mostly reassembled. And then Batman kind of helps him finish the job. But it means he's been there for 3,000 years.
It's insane.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
He is functionally immortal, according to that story.
Yeah.
Because it's not even like he has to stay in one shape or anything like that.
There's even a scene.
He does. I mean, it is traumatic for him. He gets PTSD. He retires for a little bit from doing superheroing because that fucks him up. But he lives.
There's even a moment in this book where they've been trying to like kill him all the whole time. They're shooting him and nothing really works. And then somebody brings out a laser gun out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And chopped off his head. And he's like, good thing that's not where I keep my brain.
Yeah. But then the next panel, it's back attached again. So that little moment is one little like, it doesn't really matter, but is a little bit like, is that how it works? Because Plastic Man can make like holes in himself. Like he can turn himself into a donut without like, you know what I mean, like in the center of his torso.
But can he separate himself?
He can like separate like that.
But can he like
and
detach?
In the book, he makes like a conjoined like fake
Version.
person, and he sort of puppets.
So funny.
Which is very, very funny. But in general, the limit is that Plastic Man does not go into pieces. Now, of course, he can survive that. We saw that in Obsidian Age.
Yeah.
We see it in this book. I think more it was like, for me, it was just like how did they reattach? And I think it's as simple as like the acetone thing that gets used on him a bunch where he sort of partly melts a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's crazy. Like it's not, it doesn't wreck the book or anything, but it's one moment where I was like,
I guess, yeah. For me, I was just like, hey, it's plastic. Like,
you just go past it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it doesn't stop you.
No.
But if you were going to pick it apart, that would be the one little thing.
Fair, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, definitively there. I mean, if you go further ahead to Dark Knight's Metal, in that book, Plastic Man has like been in just like an egg shape, and he's like tuned to like the vibrations of the dark multiverse.
Oh,
like
wow.
his powers go even beyond just his like stretching and silly and stuff. He's like attuned to like the cosmic vibrations of time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic Man is like a tool Batman uses in that book, and one of the big moments near the end of Metal is where he finally breaks out of the egg shape and he turns into like 7 steamrollers and stuff like that and is like fucking shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely powerful there.
Mm.
He's a big piece of that, and that ties him into like a book like The Terrifics and stuff like that. Books that disprove it. I would say, I mean, he is still crazy powerful here, but I would say, technically speaking, this book does say he can suffocate and die.
Yeah.
According to this book, which I think came out before Obsidian Age. I might have my timelines weird here. He wouldn't survive on the bottom of the ocean because he does need to breathe. Even he, inside the bag, says running out of air.
Yeah.
He says that.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is kind of like the Kryptonian question, where sometimes it's like, oh, Superman's trapped in ice. What if he can't breathe? Blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's like, he also flies through space for weeks. Is he actually holding his breath that long? Or
yeah,
it's one of those kind of like amorphous, like, is it sort of questions. So that maybe that doesn't count. But a version of Plastic Man does die in All-Star Squadron back during World War II. Pretty sure that Plastic Man dies.
Wow.
And then comes back later or something like that. But I'm pretty sure that happens. So that might be a version where he's got a little bit more vulnerability. But certainly, I would say post that Obsidian Age story, everyone's kind of been like,
he can live forever. Yeah.
That's his thing.
Which I like for him.
Even in Blackest Night, he got his heart ripped out, but he was fine.
I'm not sure how that part works, but
yeah. I mean, I don't think I shouldn't say he cannot die, because there must be a cool way to do it, but he's also not necessarily super strong. Like, you could defeat him, you could like encase him in concrete, but I think it would be like if he got dug up in 1,000 years and they chiseled him out, he'd be like, like,
could you melt him and then?
I mean, in this book, he can get melted with acetone, but it never looks. He never freaks out the way like in like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
right, with the dip in the shoe kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think you could give him that.
If you even melted him into the point where he became a vapor.
But Morgan splashes acetone on him in this book, and it melts his face and stuff like that. But then he still comes back from it. It seems temporary.
Yeah. But if you turned him into a vapor, I think at that point,
I guess maybe it's just too hard for him to reconstitute himself. But then you have to start asking the question: what piece is a small enough piece that he is not contained in it anymore?
Yeah, fair.
Because if he's shattered in that, like, it's not like his brain is in every part of his body.
Yeah.
So it's like, how small is too small? Is his soul connected to each atom? Or is it something a bit bigger? Like, could you split him small enough to kill you? Maybe you make it almost impossible for him to reconstitute himself, but theoretically, you could still do it. I think that's an open question.
Weird.
Yeah. Plastic Man is definitely, in that sort of surprising way, one of the most powerful characters in DC.
Yeah.
Not strength or anything, but for their powers, they're fully maxed out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next question comes from Adam Talking Superman, who asks, Morrison has compared their JLA to the Olympian pantheon and said Plastic Man was added to be the Dionysus. How do you suppose he fits that role?
Right. And this is largely,
yeah.
I mean, it is true. That was like the framework Morrison was working with when they were writing that book.
Mm-hmm.
So Dionysus is a god of many, many things in like Greek mythology, including like wine and viticulture and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also like chaos and insanity and parties and stuff like that.
You're talking about my 20s.
Also other kinds of agriculture.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Also theater, performance, art. I think a lot of interpretations of Dionysus really, they take the idea of these like Dionysian cults, like these things like the Bacchanalia, where it's like people are like having these orgies and getting hammered and stuff like that. But the actual observance of Dionysus was more like, it wasn't about getting hammed. It was about the proper ingestion of wine, to enjoy it. It was about sparking joy and stuff like that. So I think there's like, that's the role Plastic Man plays, right? Is he's like, he is a little chaotic. He's got that kind of energy, but he's about he's finding like the joy or the humor or things like that. On the performance side, Dionysus is the god of theater. Like who better than someone who can take any form, play any part, you know, do those, like he's got, I think it works really, really well. Yeah, I don't know that I have much of an answer beyond that, but yeah, I think he works so well as that. I guess where I'm going with this is some people see Dionysus as like debaucherous.
Yeah.
But I think the actual observance of or reverence of Dionysus is a little more about just like appreciation and finding the joy and stuff in art and performance and humor and good times and stuff like that. And I think Plastic Man basically embodies all of that. I think he's a good character to slot into that realm. Yeah.
Cool. Moving on. Oh man, do you remember when you're 20s when you were just, you know, starting lots of businesses you get drunk and you start a business? It was like an organ night.
I can't believe you pulled that off. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
That was like, you're like Sully now. Like that was,
I'm a hero?
That was like a controlled water landing of that joke.
It felt like, oh God.
A bunch of geese flew in that engine and you brought it. It was the Miracle on the Hudson.
I'm sorry, I blacked out what happened.
Yeah. No, that's Flight, isn't it? That's the Denzel one. Yeah.
Yes. You're mixing up Flight, guys.
Yeah.
Organ Knight asks, does Plastic Man have kids?
Yes. He has a son that he was sort of
poorly parented
for a while, but now he's part of his life or whatever. Yeah. His son, Luke, I think his name is Ernie, but he also sometimes goes by Luke. Like his name is like Ernest Lucas or something, like that. He goes by Offspring. Not just because he is the son of Plastic Man, but also like he could turn into a spring. Like,
wait, so how did he get abilities?
Genetically. Because the reason Plastic Man has powers isn't just that like something dumped on him. It's that he has like an open wound and it goes in and it makes him plastic. Like the thing that they do on the Flash with Elongated Man is what Plastic Man is. Elongated Man is not made of plastic. Yeah. He can stretch, but he's organic. That's why he can't open up his torso like a donut. Yeah. Plastic Man can do that because he's fully polymerized. He's effectively artificial. In a different Justice League arc, post the trauma thing, Batman has to get him out of retirement to fight Martian Manhunter when Martian Manhunter goes nuts and becomes this fire being called Furnace. And he has to get Plastic Man because he's immune to telepathy. And that's because he's plastic.
So then how does he reproduce?
He's inorganic.
How does he reproduce?
You're asking way too many.
I mean that night you couldn't recycle him, or at least you have to be careful because that's a hard plastic.
Wow. On the bottom of his dick, it's got those symbols. It says like it's a number 6.
Yeah.
Like, where do we even recycle this?
You can't really.
Do they even take those?
Yeah. God, I feel like a real grocery bag today.
Jesus Christ.
Major soft plastic.
I was going to make a deposit joke, but it was too gross.
For this podcast? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I have tact.
You're on this podcast, though.
Oh, then never mind. Yeah, so I mean, you poked a giant hole in what I was saying there. And I don't really have a good answer for you because I don't remember if they explain it or not.
He's basically a sample cup, just like plastic full of cum.
He's like plastic. So does that mean that his
cum is part plastic? He's just shooting plastic darts
inside
one?
He has been made to bleed and stuff, though. Black Adam hits him so hard in World War III that Plastic Man bleeds. So I don't know. It's some version of he is both like polymerized and also he's still got a little bit organic going on.
Okay.
Some version of that. I don't know how it works.
Fair.
But it does work. He has the kid who goes by Offspring, who's a member of the Teen Titans and stuff like that. Offspring has the same shape-shifting abilities as Plastic Man, except can't do the turn into any shape. Like, he can't make holes in himself.
Oh, okay.
In terms of shape-changing. More like an elongated man in terms of how he can shape-change. But I'm pretty sure Offspring can change his coloring, which Plastic Man can't. That's the joke of Plastic Man.
It's always red.
It's always like red with the yellow stripe and black no matter what shape he's in. At the beginning of the book,
so funny.
It's the table and there's these two crooks and they're like, yeah, tell me the plan. We're just going to lean on this weirdly red plastic table. He
funny.
Says it out loud.
He said like something like this like ostentatious table or something like that. Like it's something
and then like someone
funny.
knocks over the pepper and you see the table going like like it's such a good bit.
And it comes back later at the end of the book too.
But he's all and it comes back like the reason that Woozy Winks' mom gets like assaulted at Woozy's funeral is because she's wearing a black coat with red socks, and Morgan thinks that that's her, but really Plaz is the priest the whole time.
Funny.
So, at any rate, so Offspring, I'm pretty sure can change, like can actually camouflage. In a way the Plastic Man can't. A Plastic Man is always played for comedy where it's like, I wonder where he could be. He's like a perfect chandelier, but he's red and black and yellow. Like, it's so funny.
That's very funny. Yeah. I like that. All right, moving on. Ryan the Putney.
Yes.
Yes, you take me, you put what I tell you.
Yeah, we are the knights who say Putney.
That's good. Yeah.
Still did it in the Russian accent for some reason.
Yeah. That still works.
The joke was confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've been sick. It's okay.
Yeah, I got my vaccine.
Yeah, not feeling great the last 2 days.
I got my vaccine. I've been going out and just breathing into people's mouths a bunch.
I'm invincible.
Having them breathe into my mouth.
Yeah.
Just sucking the breath out of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes you sick, but it's
like a Dementor.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's the worst part about prison.
That's my favorite line, I think, from all of The Office.
Yeah.
Like, worst part about prison? The Dementors.
So good.
Fucking prison, Mike.
Ryan asks, So I have heard Plastic Man is a pretty funny character. What are some of his funniest moments? Also, what stories of his would you highly recommend? I'll say this one right away.
Yes. And I'll go further and say just the full Kyle Baker run.
I've heard this whole run was great. Yeah.
This whole run. But
I definitely want to get it hard.
Oh, God, keep talking like that. It won't take long.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to grab my throat and get it hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Put your knee on my throat.
There it is.
Yeah. This one, definitely. There's a Gail Simone.
Ooh, I bet hers would be good.
From just like 2 years ago or something like that.
I bet hers would be great.
Where she makes like a new version of the Granite Lady or something like that, like a classic Plastic Man character.
She shows up in this, doesn't she? Or?
Yeah, Granite Lady or Lady Granite or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Shows up briefly, like sort of cameo appearance in this one. But yeah, that Gail Simone one is pretty fun. I would read the Terrifics.
That's another one I'd like to.
Terrifics is really good. It's not only a Plastic Man book, but it's Plastic Man, Metamorpho, Phantom Girl, and Mr. Terrific.
It's a weird
doing
combo,
like a Fantastic Four, very kind of Kirby-inspired cosmic adventure sort of thing.
That.
And Plastic Man's really good in that.
That's
I
awesome.
would definitely read that one. I mean, I'm only talking. That's all just kind of modern stuff. If you can get your hands on like a Golden Age omnibus or something like that, like the old quality comic stuff, like. You should check that out. But, I mean, really, I think, those are the ones that come to mind first.
For sure.
Morrison's JLA.
Yeah.
Plastic Man's good in there.
What are some of his funniest moments?
You know, this is... it's tricky because I think you will find that a lot of his quote-unquote funny moments, depending on the writer, are also his quote-unquote assaultiest moments.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's one, even Morrison is guilty of this. Pretty sure it's Morrison in that JLA run. A bunch of them are going undercover at a party and Barta shows up and they're like, wow, Barta, man, that dress. And they were like, where'd you get that? And she's like, it was just in my room. I thought it was sent down.
No.
And she looks down and there's a yellow stripe down her side.
Oh, no.
And then she like chokes Plastic Man and comes back later. She's in a different dress. But like, that's not okay.
No, it's not.
But I think that's meant to be the funny like, Plaz. But that's the Quagmire, like, gross.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, we talked about it in this book. A great bit is him as the table, trying not to sneeze.
Very funny.
Very, very funny bit.
Mm-hmm. Him being another person was very funny.
Him making a full other person and having a conversation by himself, trying to walk out the door, the other person getting like the crap beaten out of him, and then just him standing there with like a malformed other person attached to him.
He's like, you're going to kill him.
Yeah. That's also very funny.
Very funny. I like that a lot.
God. Funniest moments. It's tough. I don't know that a lot of them really stick out for me. He's just generally it's like the question we got a few episodes ago about like what are the best pranks that like Beetle and Booster did. And it's like they're always doing something. I don't know that necessarily everything they're doing is always like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But they do it enough that you're coded to be like, wow, this character, what a prankster.
Yeah.
And then you go and you think about it, you'd be like, what did they do? Like,
yeah.
Like I think there's there's a little bit of that with Plastic Man too. Like
this book is
I think
very
most
funny.
of his funniest stuff is him trying to be disguised as something and him being very obviously him because he can't camouflage. Like, that's always the best Plastic Man gag.
I don't know if this, at least from this book, I don't know if necessarily he was funny, but the book is funny.
Yes.
Like a lot of really funny stuff happens and he's involved. And I don't know if that's always the case for Plastic Man.
I liked him being graffiti of himself in this book when he tries to hide and then someone spray paints his face. Like that was pretty funny.
Man, I always think about my buddy Dave Odette's Plastic Man costume.
Oh yeah, you showed me that. That's a dope costume.
Yeah,
with the arm extension,
super extension arm. Yeah,
because he made it look like that Alex Ross drawing of Plastic Man, right? Yeah,
exactly. Really cool.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
And he's got like him with like Alex Ross at Comic-Con. Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fucking rules.
Unfortunately, I don't, other than the couple of things that we mentioned, I don't know that I can actually just think of, like, you're not going to believe this joke that Plaz told. Like,
Fair, yeah.
I think it's just that he's generally the fun one, the silly one. And so you're kind of coded for that. And then as soon as you go, like, what are the funniest things he did? Then you kind of go, like, well, actually, like, not that much, but, like, he's a good time.
Yeah, and the books are fun.
I do think the best bit you can do with Plastic Man is him being disguised very obviously, but still like Plastic Man. Like a bright red and yellow table in the center of the room.
Yeah. That shit was hilarious. And it came back later, and I loved it.
That's the funniest possible version of that bit, because it's like he has the most incredible power, and it's almost unusable. Or the joke is that in the context of his world, it's fine. No one bats an eye where it's like, oh, like that one bus is bright red. Like, I'll hop on. Like,
or the firefighter comes in and they're like, aren't firefighters usually black?
I did like that the book called it out so much.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't say aren't firefighters usually black. They said firefighters usually wear black when delivering bodies.
Yeah, I don't understand the same thing. What's the difference? I don't know.
Come on, man. Don't make me do this.
No, explain to me.
He didn't. Yeah.
Use your words.
Move on.
Let's go
I'm
to
tire of this.
the next question from Alex Jaffe, who asks, there's a tendency in modern comics to write Plastic Man as a wacky Deadpool sort of character. But Jack Cole's original comics were a little more sophisticated. What separates Plastic Man's comedy when done right from other comedy superheroes?
Right. From past and future guests, Alex Jaff.
Yeah.
So I said it up top. I think this Kyle Baker run riffs a lot on the old Jack Cole stuff, the original quality comic stuff. In that, it is both funny and silly. I mean, the Jack Cole stuff was never lewd, but like, it's funny and silly, but also like still serious, like almost deathly serious.
Really?
Well, I mean, like this book, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, Woozy, what a character. And then he's like, oh my God, what have I done with my life?
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's not saying that. He's not playing that for a joke. He's like, oh my God, what have I done with my life?
It doesn't come off funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the Jack Cole ones are like that in terms of Plastic Man first appears in Police Comics #1, I'm pretty sure. So they're cop stories.
Yeah.
Plastic Man always like worked with the FBI. That was the thing, which means that at the heart of it, it was always like solving a crime, stopping the bad guys, that sort of thing. And then also when you consider all of like the Comics Code stuff that came like a decade later or whatever, then it was like, I guess it was a decade later, which means that the original stuff got to be more kind of grim, like those kind of old Batman ones, right? I think it's because it was always balancing, like, yeah, he wears this funny costume and like he's bright red and stuff like that. He might have quips, he might have jokes, but he was also like dealing with crooks and gangsters and murderers and like thieves and stuff. He was still helping the cops. They were saving the day.
Yeah.
I think it's easy now. A lot of humor now generally is very postmodern, right? Very like deconstructionist. Like it used to be like someone would tell a joke and then the joke was like the joke doesn't land. But now on a show, someone will tell a joke and someone in the show will say that joke didn't land.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's all these added layers of meta commentary that I think are just like we misinterpret them as clever when really it's all kind of lazy, and it's also kind of robbing you of drawing something different out of the scene. Like you could watch a scene where something happens and then when they leave it, then you go like, wow, I got this out of this. And you might say, oh, I actually saw something else in that. But when people in the scene comment on it, you rob it of that. And that's true of comedy. So in those Deadpool things where something happens and then he looks out and he goes like, isn't that wacky? Then I'm immediately like, well, no, it's not. It's not wacky. Right? Like,
yeah,
I was about to call it wacky until you did. And I think that's where it can go wrong. So where this book really succeeds for me is like, it does have a level of meta commentary. Like but they're never saying like, this shit is stupid.
No.
They don't do that. They will say like, Batman, you're doing your backstory again. But they never go like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, Batman. We know Martha's dead. Like it doesn't have the stank of like modern, that kind of, even a Harley comic does that. Like Harley goes more to that place. I still think there's lots of great Harley comics. I really like what's been happening in Harley Quinn in comics, but I think there's even a tendency there for it to go to that place where it's a little too snarky. I think Plastic Man is cynical, but the book isn't. Does that make sense? Plastic Man's cynical because he used to be a crook.
Yes.
But the book isn't cynical.
No.
The book isn't saying, I can't believe you're reading this stupid comic.
No, not at all.
You know, like I think that's where it works the best.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next question from #BLM Caleb Olson, who asks, you're now in charge of bringing Plastic Man to the DCEU. Who do you cast as Plastic Man? Who is the big bad? And who directs? Ooh.
Big one. I mean, the long-time internet fan casting is Ben Schwartz.
Which is incredible.
Who I think would be great.
Very much the wacky version of him, for sure.
But also, like, the thing that makes him so funny in improv is how he can turn on a dime and be, like, very serious.
Yes.
Like, that's the stuff that's funniest about him as an improviser, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that movie ended up taking the tone of this book, then it's like, oh yeah, I'm there. I think Ben Schwartz would work. I think he would be very, very funny as Plastic Man.
I guess that too, yeah.
Do you have anyone other than Ben Schwartz that maybe you would cast in the role?
This is a bit of a darker one, but someone who I still think could play comedy, could play the seriousness a bit more.
Right.
Bill Hader?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Like, he can do the wacky and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he can.
Yeah.
But he's very good at the dark stuff, too.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good pick.
I like him as that.
Who's
Who's the big bad?
I'm trying to... you got
another one?
A sillier one.
Yeah.
I mean, this actor still has range, but it would still be a bit sillier. Jermaine Clement.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah. Also, don't change the accent. Now Plastic Man is from New Zealand.
In Plastic Man.
Oh, get off my dick.
Yeah. I'm Plastic Man. Where's Brit? Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, okay, so who's the big bad?
Like in the the DCEU is pretty varied now, which is good. I think you make the big bad Red Herring.
Really? I mean, that's funny. I could see that as being like a villain
because you set it up as a mystery.
Yeah.
But we see Red Herring the whole time. But you're following Plaza. He's trying to put the pieces together. He's like, I can't. Like, what's the motive? You know. Like, blah, blah.
Oh, you redeem Red Herring.
And then at the very, you don't even redeem. Red Herring is doing others. It's like obstructing justice the whole time.
Yeah.
But at the very, very end, it's like someone else.
Okay.
You get all the way to the third act.
Mandarin
you maybe
him?
do like a big thing with Red Herring, and then at the very, very end, when he's like defeated Red Herring, thinks he stopped the plot. Red Herring goes like, "Actually, I was just." It's not me. I didn't.
You're doing the Mandarin to him,
kind of, but not as early in the movie.
Because it would be interesting.
But yes, essentially, I think. I mean, people would see it coming though too. But I think that's the fun of it. It's like, when is Plaz going to see it, or like, what's the twist? Who is the person? How is the Red Herring kind of involved, but not like. I don't know. I think you just do it outright. Be silly.
You do that,
and then it's Dr. Dome or something at the end, like.
Or you actually redeem Red Herring, and it's like everything's been leading to this. All of the things that felt like disconnected.
Or it actually is Red Herring.
Yeah. And it's all been leading up to this.
The ultimate crime, the one you would never suspect, is that I'm actually behind something.
And everything's connected.
Yeah. which is very funny.
That I think, who would you want to play the red herring?
Bryan Cranston.
Oh my god.
Bryan Cranston as a CGI fish.
That's
Yeah.
very funny.
Which is mocapped by Sean Gunn, because why not?
It'd be really funny to have, if it was Bill Hader, I'd want it to be like what's his name from SNL, from Lonely Island?
What,
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg?
Yeah. Have them go against each other in something.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh my, could you?
I want the most serious actor to be Red Herring.
That's very funny.
Yeah, who else could we get? Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford,
I'm the red
who just
herring.
would only show up to do the voice and be like, I have no idea what this fucking movie is. But
I'm just the red herring. Fuck yourself.
I've got to build another garage. So they're paying me $20 million.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's what I want.
Yeah. Directs. Who directs it?
Oh. Taika?
Ooh, yeah. I was gonna go gun. So yeah.
I mean, he's so. I mean, it's easy to name these ubiquitous sort of people, but like, yeah.
Or the who are the two guys that did the Lego movie and we're gonna do the solo?
Oh, Lord and Miller.
Yeah. Those are the two.
Actually, I want Lord and Miller to do it and then get fired, and I want Ron Howard to finish it.
You want to make a less good thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to make a thing that's just fine.
Yeah. Just shoot for the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. All right. Let's move on to. Oh, we're leaving Twitter and we're heading over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them. I mean, I think you're maybe milking it a little bit. God, I went to a music high school, and so I was in like all sorts of choirs and bands and stuff like that. Every jazz band, I mean, I was guilty of this too, but every single one of us thought we could scat. And it was always like, oh, we're in the middle of doing In the Mood. Who wants a scat solo? And someone just go ahead and be like, scat, and like, no one could do it. Like, it's an actual skill. We would all just go like, and like, everyone was fucking garbage at it. Why would the teachers let us do? Why weren't the teachers being like, when you've earned scatting, you can do like you just come in here and go like squeebity boo. Like, you don't get to do it at the concert.
Yeah. People who get to scat are the people who are the best at it. The best at singing get to then now do free form
Every
singing.
fucking, like, I feel so bad for my parents who had to sit through all these concerts.
That's
just like
so
a bunch
funny.
of fucking random 16-year-olds going like
That's so funny.
fucking brutal.
That is so funny.
I think about it every time we do this Instagram jingle.
Really?
I think about it every time, because I also was one of those kids who go out and like thought it's like, oh, I'm killing it, and it's like, you're not.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
I really like. I would have if I get given the opportunity, I'd be like,
just do a different song.
I'm the scat man. Zip 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 zip.
It's just
That's incredible. That's the best news I've heard today.
And then like they do some weird thing or end on like a weird note, and everyone else has to come in like dabba 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 in the mood, in the mood, dabba dabba in the mood.
Sweet.
Every fucking time.
Beep bop boop boo. That's very funny.
Everyone thought they were like, I can't even name a great scatter. Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, there you
go.
That's so funny. That makes me that warms my heart. That's very funny. That poor teacher. That's probably the teacher.
It's their fault. You could just told us. You didn't have to give solos out. Just do the song.
Maybe that's why the teacher did it, because it was funny. Like,
I mean, that is a strong contender for likely reason.
Yeah, because it's just like, watch these fucking idiots try to pretend like they notice.
And all of our parents having to be like, wow. Oh my God, we're so proud of you.
Yeah, no. Scat.
I really liked the bit in the middle of Bridge Over Troubled Water where you went, squibbit boo, squibba, squibba.
Wait, I'm sorry, so you.
Boo.
Please tell me you did it in songs that weren't jazz. Okay.
We didn't do it in that one. I just thought it would be really funny.
Sweet, sweet tears in heaven.
This is my SNL pitch. My sketch is like a choir where one member always scats, no matter what the song is. Yeah.
That's very funny.
Lacrimosa, squip.
Yeah, that's great. First question on Instagram comes from Robbie is just this person.
Hi, Robbie.
Robbie currently is the person that's asking the question.
I actually think that we've been reading this wrong. I think this is addressed to a third party. He's trying to say that like he believes in like law and order and like, but
Robbie is just this guy.
No, or no, I was gonna say Robbie is just this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were
Hey, this guy. Robbie is just.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was Robbie is just this guy.
Yeah, it's a 5-word political ad.
Paid for by the
Paid for by Robbie is just a guy. Squeebity bit.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Zip, 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 tears in heaven.
Robbie can't do more tears in heaven jokes. That was from the Patreon.
Zip, 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 eating pussy. Zweeby goes pussy. Zweep, zweep, zweeby.
Oh, fuck me.
Robbie's just this guy asks, how insane is Plastic Man? Do people take him seriously? Does he have a rogues gallery? If the bodies exhibit were brought to unlife, they might be formidable foes and possibly be more tragic villains than Grundy?
Right. Okay. How insane is he? Not very. He's in command of his faculties. He's just silly.
Yeah.
But
occasionally breaks into scat.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
Scat's the right word for that, for what you guys were doing.
Yeah. Taking a big old dump right on Duke Ellington's legacy. Just
Fiona Apples never knew it was coming.
Oh, Christ. What was the next one? Oh, is he taken seriously?
I mean, Batman apparently does.
Ultimately, yes. I think, like a lot of sort of sillier heroes, they earn it. You know, I think people still think they're silly or whatever, but they are ultimately considered to be dependable and righteous and all of the things that they want from a Justice Leaguer. So yes. What was the next part of this? The next part of this is, does he have villains?
A rogues gallery.
Yeah, so we talked about, I've mentioned Dr. Dome. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Dr. Dome is a guy that has a dome on his head.
Oh my god, where did you get the name?
I pulled this up so I could show you a picture.
Oh yeah, that literally looks like a salad bowl on the top of his head.
Yep. He's maybe what you would call an arch nemesis.
Okay.
There's the Granite Lady, or I think the name of the new version was Granite Janet. Granite Lady is one. She's like made of stone, kind of. She's got stone powers.
Mm-hmm.
Red Herring, we've talked about. Oh, geez. There's a bunch of weird one-offs and stuff.
But
it's
not like
hard to remember,
rogues.
I mean, it's not. I mean, even Hawkman has like a more iconic rogue. Like, the Plastic Man rogues are pretty forgotten, I would say, generally speaking. I love the last bit of this question, though, where it's like talking about like that Body Worlds exhibit.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one? So for anyone listening who's maybe too young to remember this, the Body Worlds exhibit was a thing where people had like donated their bodies at the time of their death to science generally, but specifically to this exhibit. And by some process that I do not fully understand, instead of mummification, where your bones and stuff are replaced with rock, which or calcium or whatever, like which is that's what that is.
Yeah.
This process replaced cells with plastic. It basically made you unbreakdownable. And then they would do it to different parts of different bodies.
If you've got a mesa boogie stack, you can make it break down.
Oh God. Here's the breakdown. Squeebity. No, they would do it to different parts of the body, and the point of the exhibit was to show like how our bodies work. So, for example, they'd have like a rower, but then like their back, like the skin would be opened up, so you could see the muscles. You could see like what moves when like a rower is reaching and that. Or they did one where it was only the circulatory system, so there was nothing else there, but just a full plastic, real circulatory system just standing.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a crazy exhibit. It was outrageous because they were actual people.
Yeah.
Who were then like plastically flayed and put on display for our education. Would they make interesting villains for Plastic Man? Plastic Man has like, they're very casual about interchanging the words plastic and rubber.
Yes.
When it comes to Plastic
even
Man.
in this book.
And I'm pretty sure that's not true because rubber is organic and comes from a tree.
Yes.
Plastic is a hydrocarbon,
but sure.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
What? Because I'm bringing facts. Facting it back.
There it is. There it is. I was waiting for it. I was like, which one of us is going to do it?
Yeah. So Plastic Man is the Body Worlds exhibit. They weren't like flexible. It wasn't like, hey, we turned a real person into a fucking Stretch Armstrong.
Yes.
Like they weren't. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
They're too rigid. It might be interesting though, just in terms of like if we take the invulnerability as still a thing, right? That they're just hard to beat. They're kind of inorganic. They sort of can't be fully stopped. They can only be like impeded or whatever. It would make them kind of like the Unmen, like Anton Arcane's Unmen or something like that. Maybe not fully like.
I thought that was the subtitle of his podcast.
Unmen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ghostface is On Men.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Or Under Men.
Oh. Ooh. Either way.
Yeah. I'm having a good day.
Yeah.
Squee baby bottom.
It makes me like angry and embarrassed.
That's a good feel. That's a good combo. Yeah.
Which is also how I felt in high school.
I mean, yeah. It's plus horny.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah. That's for Ghostfacers now.
Yeah. Yeah. I found an outlet.
Mm-hmm. And an inlet.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Geography really does. Yeah.
I'm gonna border his peninsula.
Oh God. I'm gonna make his Pelego arch.
I thought you were just
like
gonna
an
say,
archipelago.
I'm gonna make his penis. Like I was like going fully just losing it. I'm gonna have sex with his penis. Nailed it.
Can I just say my favorite, like, I guess, like TV euphemism or something like that when someone like has sex and isn't good at it is from Flight of the Conchords, where Britt says she had sex on me.
Oh yes,
because he's like kind of not into it.
Yeah, I wasn't really participating in that.
Yeah, it's like she had sex on me. I think that's
very funny.
Although also now thinking about it, it's like that's another example of like a funny episode about something not funny at all.
Kind of rape, yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, not cool.
Oh shit.
At least they didn't do it. Like they were not the bad people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Still don't think it's great.
Yeah, no.
Oh no. Man. Let's move on.
Squeebity. Yep.
My rule, though, is that it can only happen during the Instagram portion of the show.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
Fair. Next question comes from the most interesting resident.
Andrew Delgado.
Delgado Andrew.
Sorry. I just made an assumption I shouldn't have.
Wow.
Yeah. I apologized.
Yeah.
Unequivocally.
Mm-hmm. Unequivocally. I can't stop now.
Oh, wow.
It's in my head now. Andrew asks, or Delgado asks, Delgado. That's a good first name. Here's my son, Delgado.
He's really good at scatting. Go, Delgado.
Yeah. Fully off the rails.
Yeah.
Was Plastic Man ever associated with any versions of Earth X or the Freedom Fighters before the Rebirth Plastic Man? Plastic or is it? How do you say it?
I would just call it Plastic Man.
Plastic Man.
Yeah. So, Plastic Man was not originally a DC comic.
Okay.
Like many things, it was from a different publisher called Quality Comics that DC then acquired and eventually folded in like the 70s. And then after Crisis on Infinite Earths, then they were like part of the continuity.
Okay.
Right? Same deal as Charlton Comics or Fawcett Comics or a bunch of others. Okay. So Quality Comics, Plastic Man is like one of their big characters. Among their other characters were characters like Uncle Sam, Human Bomb, stuff like that became the Freedom Fighters. So when DC reintroduced them, when they owned these characters, they introduced the Freedom Fighters as being from Earth X, and this is the world where the Nazis win the war. And then the Freedom Fighters spent decades fighting the Nazis and trying to bring them down.
Okay.
Plastic Man, I think during that time in the 70s, did appear in that book and on that team. But I will say definitively, post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, Plastic Man showed up as part of the Freedom Fighters and as part of the All-Star Squadron in the book All-Star Squadron, which was the wartime fighting the Nazis book. Plastic Man definitely fought alongside them there. That absolutely happened. There was during Convergence, there was a book called Plastic Man and the Freedom Fighters. So that was like about bringing those Quality Comics characters together and stuff like that. The Plastic Men thing that's being referenced here is that in the most recent series of Freedom Fighters, which take place on Earth 10, where the Nazis have won, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
There are basically like the super Gestapo.
Oh,
it's Plas with two S's.
Yeah.
It's the SS.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's the Plastic Men are all of these like Gestapo officers that have been given the Plastic Man serum or something, so they can stretch and contort, and they're these like horrifying super enforcers, basically.
Yeah.
In this Nazi world.
Terrifying.
So in that world, it's not Plastic Man. It's not like Eel O'Brien.
Yeah.
Like it's they're the Gestapo.
Yeah, and it's terrifying.
And it's terrifying. But that's how they kind of worked them in for that series in this very sort of horrifying way. But yes, short answer, there are examples back in comics of Plastic Man and the Freedom Fighters teaming up, or of writers making that connection and being like, we know that they were from the same publisher.
Yeah.
As the little in-joke sort of thing. But generally speaking, do they spend a lot of time crossing paths? Not really. You know, there are times, but it's not really like a very knit thing that happens a lot.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Oh, God. Every time. Is Obadiah?
Okay. So I got a voice memo.
Oh, really?
About how to say this.
From
Yeah. Here,
them?
actually, I'm just going to.
I swear to God, if this is you scatting.
That would be incredible. How would I know that this would come up? That would be like 5D. Okay, here we go. We're gonna see if this works the way I want it to.
I just want to say that I really love the podcast and everything that you guys do. You guys are hilarious. And just to clarify, my Instagram name is ObiDede98. Not Obidede. ObiDede98.
Obedidi. Obidede.
Oh. Obidede.
No. Oh no. That's so much worse.
No, is that bad?
Yeah.
98. That's legal.
How would you 98 someone?
Take him to a sketchy bar. That's a White Horse joke.
That's a very specific joke. Thank you so much for the kind words and the deserved,
Obi Dede
and the deserved
98.
correction.
Thank you. Yes.
Obi Dede. I'm saying it too much now.
I'll never say it again. That's great. I'll never say it again.
This is the last one.
Yep. Who asks, does he have any other weaknesses? I remember Raish shattered him into pieces, but he didn't die. The thing we've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah. So, weaknesses. We know acetone. They use that a bunch in the book. Cold temperatures. They use that in this book.
Yeah.
They pump the AC to freeze him into like a block in the vent.
Yes.
And they pull him out, and that's very funny. That's also why they bring him to the morgue to keep him. Why Woozy says they should put him in a refrigerator.
Oh my god.
And that's by the same principle as like the thing that we saw in the incredible Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Where Dr. Doom
So good.
freezes Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So those are two
Yeah.
weaknesses. There's presumably the weakness of he has to breathe, which does come up, but is not necessarily true a la Obsidian Age.
Yes.
But possibly true. I mean, there's the weakness of like he can be trapped or confined, right? He is not super strong. He's not super fast. I don't know that counts as a weakness. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he walks into a room and he goes like, "No windows, my powers." Like it's not that. It's just he can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's maybe doesn't count as a weakness, but it's just like he's just because he will live forever and he's invulnerable doesn't mean he's unstoppable. Mm-hmm. He's not.
Yeah.
I think those kind of things are the two big ones. So I think, you got to think either chemically, what can you do to plastic? Or, I mean, I guess the cold thing is chemically too, right? You have to use your science, right? I guess he could be like misshapen or malformed. Like you could force him into a shape where he can't do. You can hyper stretch him. That even happens in the book.
Yeah, they don't actually do it.
Well, it kind of like you get the sense that it's happening when he's on all the hooks at the end,
Then
but he doesn't look like he's stretched that much.
No,
but I mean, theoretically, there is a limit, even if it's really extreme. Like, I don't think he can wrap his arms around the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, there must be a point at which he can't stretch anymore.
Yeah,
that would be, I guess, a weakness.
Mm-hmm. Can you burn him?
I guess you could melt him.
Yeah.
Plastic doesn't exactly burn.
No.
But you could presumably melt him that way. And
but
the way
but
you
again,
can chemically melt him with the acetone.
But then you're really like also kind of hurting yourself because melting plastic, not a great idea.
Yeah, you get all the off-gassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes like, "Oh, sorry, I'm off-gassing. I had beans today."
Now where's some pussy?
Jesus. The pussy thing again. Come on.
It was in here.
I swear to God, if Martian Manhunter eats a pussy in next week's book, I am going to riot.
I eat it like Chacos.
That's what the book's about. He goes on a cunnilingus binge. What a weird turn for that book.
Love it. I like the cream filled one.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy shit. When he dies, they go to Mars for his funeral, and Superman just puts a fleshlight on his coffin instead of a choco.
Yeah.
All right. I think those are like his primary weaknesses.
Okay.
I guess also not being the smartest guy in the room sort of sets him back a little too. He does a lot of detective work because he's always working with cops, but he's not known as a great detective. No. That's elongated, man. That's the other one.
Yeah, right? That's very funny. All right. Zip. We're leaving Instagram and heading on over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice and no one ever scats. I mean, not musically at least.
I mean, it's funny that you say that because the first question comes from
butt
fart butt
incredible name
butt fart
recently joined Patreon.
That's right. Welcome.
Thank you, Butt Fart Butt.
That made me so happy to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you texted me.
I was like,
just
this
like, hee hee hee.
This is great. You'll fit. You're gonna fit in great over here.
Yeah. We're just your level of maturity.
Yeah. It'll fit perfectly in a dog's court.
Yeah, exactly.
Butt asks, haven't read a ton of Plastic Man prior to Dark Knight's Metal, The Terrifics, and his short run from a couple of years ago. I remember in a prior issue you discussed how he can basically form any shape, which I get. From this story, it looks like he also has the ability to separate into multiple working parts, like when he creates the fake Agent Morgan. I've never seen him do that in other stuff. Has he done stuff like that in other stories? Should I just shut the fuck up and enjoy the whimsy that is Plastic Man? P.S. Really enjoying these random selections. Maybe not the highest quality stories, but always good to read something new and different.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Also, this is a great story.
Yeah, and to answer your question, yes, you should shut the fuck up. Could you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, you answered your own question. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of pointless at this point, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, the fake Agent Morgan is not separate.
I mean, no, he is still attached.
Yeah.
Like surreptitiously,
Yeah.
like at the torso.
But there is the moment with the head off.
The head does happen.
Yeah.
We talked about the shattered pieces thing.
Yeah.
But like as a power, he can't like take a hand off or something like that.
Yeah.
But but what the Agent Morgan thing suggests, not only is that he has such fine control of his shape-shifting that he can make sure that the skin part looks like skin, the costume part looks like costume, all that kind of stuff. He can move it independently, and it's not like it's his arm or something. It's like random bits of his torso, and he has perfect control over every single like inch of his body. He can manipulate anything with the same dexterity that he could his fingers.
Yeah.
So it means that he's like fully puppeting, like just like his butt or like his stomach or part of his neck skin or like every single piece of him he has full dexterity of, which is sort of like the unspoken craziest part of his power.
Yeah.
Is that he can move anything.
Yeah. He moved his brain out of his head, apparently.
Well, I think it was more that he got shot in the neck, and he said, it's a good thing it's not where I keep my brain.
Oh, I thought he meant like in his head. That's why if it was detached, it would be fine.
Yeah, I think we're meant to just fully gloss past that.
Oh, okay.
And not worry too much about like
it's cartoon physics anyway.
Yeah, we're not supposed to really deal with the neurological truth of Plastic Man, I think.
Fair.
But yeah, I think generally speaking, as a power, he can make himself into any shape, even shapes that like are not natural to him, like opening up his torso or stuff like that. Like he could do all that stuff, but he doesn't ever really just separate. Like he's not like a duplicate sort of person, right?
Do you think that one day we're going to find out there's going to be a more book and you're going to find out that he's plastic that thinks he's a person? Like,
oh, right. Yeah.
Right, like that's how I explained all this stuff is he's not actually a person anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I think it loses the impact.
Why? I don't understand.
Because we could just say it and know exactly what we're talking about.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
I just came up with this genius idea. I don't understand.
God, you're so smart.
I know. Fuck yeah. Oh God, I can't do it. All right, we're not on Instagram.
Better fucking check yourself.
Would you shut the fuck up?
Butt, fart, butt. It's really hard to be serious and then call someone butt, fart, butt.
BBFB.
Yeah. I almost...
do it.
I'm so stupid.
Say it.
I was almost going to say, I was trying to come up with like a what would Jesus do, but for BBFB. And then in my head, I almost went, butt, fart, do. And then I was like, oh, it's this. I just didn't change it.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing. You had to do at the end instead of butt again.
So, which also made it incorrect.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a bracelet that says BBFB. Not for any specific advice, but every time I can look at it, I know what it means, and it'll make me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll remind you to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I don't need reminding.
Yeah, that's true. It's like clockwork.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's also it's upsetting how many people know that about me.
I mean, stop scheduling people to be around at the time.
Fair.
Stop inviting us in like you're Louis the 14th and we want to watch you do it.
Yeah, but that's how I have to go. It's part of the process. You're part of the
Would
process.
you deny your king?
Daddy needs to poo-poo.
Yeah, Louis the 14th called himself daddy.
Did they?
Papa. Oh, je dois me chier. I have to shit myself, is what I said.
No, I got it. I know just enough French to be dangerous. Let's leave Reddit. And go over to...
C'est trop épicé, ça me fait chier.
You should stop making jokes because we're going over to Discord.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to the Discord.
Oh, God.
I mean... You're heading like you're going into something, but you have no idea.
We didn't dox the score. We scored the dox, and dox one scored the dox.
Is that classic rock?
For fuck's sakes. It's a little bit dox scored. This dox in my score. I'm not one to dox.
Piano
who
rock.
dox usually
Also,
score.
the second time that you've taken the least rock version of that artist, like the least song that's like...
I know it's dox scored,
like,
but it's the dox scored and do.
like not Doc scored in the Jets. Like you could have done something that was actually rock, and then, but you went with the that's. You went with the Princess
and it
Di
seems
song.
to me you dox you scored like a dox scored in the wind.
Tears in Doc scored.
Would you dox
My
my scored?
If I saw Docs and score.
I accidentally dropped my internet community out the window.
Oh, that's good. First question.
Dox scored.
We're not in Instagram.
I wasn't scatting.
I mean, how can I tell the difference?
It's true. I'm not very good. Touche. Interesting. Good counterpoint.
Want to go to the first question?
Not really.
All right, we want to end the show.
Sure.
Okay.
Bye. No, let's do it.
I'm like, don't tempt me. I'll do that.
That's like our Two-Face.
Do we want to tell them where to find us? Nope. First question on Doc Scored from Bruno. Is the fact that he's so powerful but at the same time seems like a joke make it so that a solo series is even more of a hard sale? What tone and direction would you give his series if it was your call?
Yeah, I mean, this book, maybe technically when you really pick it apart, but it's not like showing him as powerful or showing him as like a dedicated and trusted member of the Justice League or something like that.
I mean, look, they've made jokey Martian Manhunter books. Like, it's not like just because a character is funny and...
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that works in those is Martian Manhunter occasionally cracks a joke, but he's also not the joke.
Yeah.
You know, I think it works fine. I do think the Morrison run, the Bart address thing aside, generally, like, kind of does it right.
Yeah.
Although that run, he is decidedly less jokey than I would say even the old Jack Cole stuff.
Oh, okay.
Or certainly this story that we read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the stuff that we talked about, I think it's just the jokes have to be because he is having fun. Like, again, Plastic Man and E.L. O'Brien can be cynical. He can be like, like, you know, like, I bet that person's the murderer. Like, he doesn't have to go in and like give everyone the benefit of the doubt. He could be like, I bet that person's the murderer. But then the funny thing would be like that he's like not playing it cool, that he tries to like get information, but he's very obviously like the rug, or you
Yeah.
know, like those are the kind of broad, funny, silly jokes that work. But while he's also doing like, this is serious undercover sting work. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that it works in this book. I think it works in the old police comics. I like that for him.
Yeah.
The there's not a good, I'm trying to think of like a contemporary, like a TV example, like just something very mainstream. I am not going to get it right, but I think the thing that works is something like akin to like a Castle.
Oh, okay.
What works on Castle is that they know it's a serious situation.
Yeah.
But he's also unqualified
Yes.
and possibly a liability.
yeah.
But he's also trying legitimately to
Solve the
help
crime,
and
yeah.
solve the crime. And I think, I don't mean make it Castle, but I think like those are the pieces.
Yeah.
That's the structure.
Fair.
And I think that's what works.
Do you think that
I don't think it's actually too hard of a. I mean, Bruno will probably come at me with stats because Bruno runs a comic shop, so he's probably like, we can't move the thing. Like, he's probably
funny doesn't work?
yeah, but from my perspective, I think it's more just like people maybe just don't touch Plastic Man because they either don't think they have as creators, they just don't think they've got stories for an ongoing, or like we got that Gail Simone one, and then she was like, I've done my story.
Yeah.
And then it's over, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those characters where because it's not Batman or Flash, we know we don't have to have it every month. So now it's just like, if you have a story for it, we will do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, we'll leave it.
Yeah.
He was in the Terrifics. That ran like almost 30 issues. That was pretty good. You know, like, yeah, I mean, should he show up more? Maybe, but I think maybe he does intimidate writers, especially if maybe they're not.
He doesn't have a lot of depth, right? So there's not like a ton to that character.
I think he does, but I think it can. I think what he's touching on here is that it can be intimidating to be like, and people expect this to be a good time, and maybe I don't know that I'm up for writing that. That could very well be it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a problem with Plastic Man. I think that's a problem with
Writers.
people not having something for him.
Mm-hmm. Fair. It seems like it'd be easier to write for Batman than it would for Plastic Man.
Well, I mean, and that's also due to there is such a preponderance of Batman that the tone is undeniable.
Yeah.
Or the types of tones. There are multiple tones for Batman, but they've all been done a lot.
Yeah.
So you have so much like work already done.
Yeah.
Like framework and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. You know the pieces that can be in there. You know all the sort of.
It's basically intuitive.
You know the
at that point.
boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of boundaries with him.
Yeah.
Fair. Let's go to the last question from We've Only Just Dandon. You wanted to do it so bad. I could see it lighting up in your eyes.
I have self-restraint.
I mean,
didn't
not,
when it was
that's so not true.
When it was my turn for a solo.
Yeah.
But
Also, that's just not true at all. You don't have self-restraint.
what are you talking about? I famously have self-restraint.
I mean, famously, you don't.
Famously. Ask me what I ate today. No.
And we've gone through that. Remember the day that you said you haven't really eaten anything, and then you realized you had eaten everything?
I had like 8 meals.
Yeah, you know, a normal amount of food for a day.
Just gonna Orson Welles myself.
Do like a poor like commercial like while you're drunk.
Sorry, that's what you remember Orson Welles for?
Yeah.
Not Citizen Kane.
No, just that drunk commercial.
He did a drunk commercial?
Was that Orson Welles or was that?
No, are you thinking of Hasselhoff?
No, not Hasselhoff.
Did Orson Welles do a commercial drunk?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, I'll have to look
I mean,
it
it does
up.
kind of sound like him.
Yeah,
I believe it.
I'm pretty sure it was either that or Godfather dude.
Brando?
Brando. It was either Brando or Orson Welles. I can't remember which one. Anyways.
I was about to do my very bad Brando impression. I decided not to.
Oh.
No,
I can see you can make the face for it.
It's only Droopy Dog. That's the problem. It's like every time I go to do it, I'm like,
Kal-El.
like that's it.
This is all I am. Kal-El, my son.
Can you do Droopy Dog and The Godfather?
Yeah.
You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. Look how they massacred my boy.
Oh, my boy. That's good. Yeah, that makes me happy. Dan Dunn asks, how dastardly a criminal was Eel O'Brien? What's the worst thing he did? Also, this just reminds me of there's a moment in the book where they find out that Plastic Man is Eel O'Brien, and what's his name? Warbley or whatever. He's like,
oh, Woozy Wig.
Woozy, yeah. He's like, wait, does that mean that he's Irish?
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Which is the worst thing you could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
That's not a joke.
No, it's also just like, it's white people. It's fine. We can shit all over them. Scat all over them.
Oh, no.
What's the worst thing that Eel O'Brien's ever done?
I mean, probably, technically,
Leaving his wife and never coming
canonically,
back.
murder. But the wife thing is pretty bad.
Yeah.
The kind of skipping out and not raising his son thing is pretty bad.
Yeah. He's pretty skeezy
I can't
guy.
remember how much he knew or didn't know about
The son?
the son.
Yeah.
I feel like he was pretty aware of shirking duties, though.
Yeah, that's not good.
Maybe not the whole time, but for part of it. Yeah, the wife thing in this particular book is bad. I mean, the book does imply that Eel murdered someone, right? Because isn't that like he goes undercover as that guy, and then the other two henchmen are like, "Yeah, Eel murdered you," or something, right? Like,
yeah.
So I guess murder is pretty bad, but generally, like I said, he's more of a crook, and he's not like a mob boss. He's not like, I mean, in this book, they say he's like top of the FBI's most wanted list, but like Eel O'Brien was never like Carmine Falcone or something. Like he was never like something like that.
He's mostly it was like a he just broke like he stole and like cracked safes and banks and stuff. Like bank robbery.
Like the racket, like the protection racket, like like small time mob kind of stuff. I think is more what he was than anything. Yeah,
exactly. That was the last question. Which you know what that means. It's time for everyone's favorite game. Can you guess the name of the character based on someone who's not read comic books can describe that character to us? If you've never played before, well, it goes a little something like this.
Squibby, but can you guess the character?
There's a name. Zeep, 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 zeep.
I mean, it should just be a law. If you're like in high school, you don't get to scat. Should have the death penalty.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Not retroactively.
Oh, okay.
I made it.
Okay.
I'm out.
Oh, that's fair.
I got out.
No, you need to be punished for your past sins.
Cleaned up.
We're canceling you for what you did before.
Serve my time.
I'm posting what you did on Twitter and you're getting canceled.
The thing is, I might have a video of it.
Oh my God. We found the new
years ago, my dad
$100
Years
tier.
ago, my dad digitized and sent a bunch of old home movies. And I just have them
my
at home.
God.
It's entirely possible.
All of this content is a new $100 tier.
Yeah, I'll release my childhood memories.
If you can't make money from them, why'd even have them?
That's true.
Why even make those memories?
Why have memories?
Yeah.
If not to...
Thank
I'm going to
you.
release my memories as NFTs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's coming one day, right?
That's a dystopian NFT future.
Yeah. Mine are like the horror movies.
Yeah.
If you don't know how this game works, I send a photo of a DC character to my wife who does not read comic books, nor does she care for them. She sends back 4 clues describing what she sees. The doctor does not know who this is. Let's see if he can find out.
Okie dokie.
Can he guess the name of the character based on someone?
All right.
4 clues. Are you ready?
How many clues?
4 clues.
What's the name of the segment?
Can you guess?
Yeah, okay. All right. Yes, I'm ready.
Can you guess the name of the zip?
Now I get it.
Oh, okay.
Now you're speaking my language. I'm not even really scatting. It's coming through me.
Oh, yeah, I can tell.
The spirits of bad choral scatters.
Is it weird that doing scatting feels racist? Is that...
I mean, I think it probably is.
Yeah, I feel like...
I'm willing to say that that's a safe bet.
Yeah, whether it is for sure or not, I'd rather just be on the right side of history.
Yeah.
We're going to come back and just going to be like, God, did you see this video of Reed doing scatting back then? It was a different time. We didn't know. Yeah, what about the blackface? Even that was bad back then.
Why would I? Why would I?
You were trying to Ella Fitzgerald yourself? I don't know.
Oh, no.
Jeez. Uncool. Can't wait for that video to come out. $100 tier.
It's not blackface. That was made up.
Only one we'd find out. $100.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Does he?
I don't think I like this.
The money says yes. The guilt
But
feels bad. Yeah.
I am pretty greedy.
All right. Clue number 1. I mean, you technically got a clue downstairs because I sent it to my wife
No.
while we were there, and she went, "Oh." Just saying.
Okay.
So clue number 2.
No, fuck you. Clue number one.
Clearly lifts.
Clearly lifts. Oh. Freight train.
Oh my God, you're wrong.
Jesus. I'm going to say a lantern just so I can say that I did it.
Okay.
Arquillo.
Holy shit. Completely wrong. Next clue.
Okay.
Animalistic charisma.
It's Buona Beast?
No.
Freedom Beast?
No. No beast. No blank beast.
Beauty and the... No.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Clearly
Lexi
lifts,
Lumiere.
clearly lifts animal charisma. Is it lion mane?
No.
Can I ask, is this Plastic Man adjacent or just
No.
a character?
Just a character. I haven't done that in a very long time.
I know, but I just throwing it out there. Okay, next clue.
Stylin' with that waist sash and leopard print outfit.
Red Lion?
No.
Vixen?
No.
Impala?
No.
I know. I knew I'd
get into it.
I knew I'd get your attention there.
No.
Is it like cheetah? Like the
No. Nope.
Okay. Sort of was it waistcloth or loincloth?
Waist sash.
Right. Lifts and animalistic.
Yeah.
God, I'm running out of characters.
They are not that obscure either, I would say.
Maybe I'm... Is it the Atom, but like that, like sort of the Atom era where he was like sort of like fantasy, like fighting things?
No, but that brings up an interesting idea that I hadn't really thought of until this moment, which is that I could do characters, but like variations of them at some point.
Yeah.
That would really fuck you over.
I mean, it's not like it's been going well for me anyway lately.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. Actually, if I could just take a little second to get something off my chest about how I've been feeling.
Zip.
And your time's up. Is it is it like what's his name? Is it Prince Tufton?
No, that's a very funny name though.
The one from Commandy, the
Yeah.
tiger.
Oh yeah, no.
Is it Calabac?
No. But it ain't no
I know.
it ain't no Calabac.
Every
no.
goddamn time. We get it.
Just
Next clue, please.
final clue.
Okay.
Doesn't use a litter box.
Catman?
No. Catman don't.
Bronze tiger?
Incorrect.
Okay. It's not Catman, Bronze Tiger, Vixen, Red Lion, Impala, Moana Beast, Freedom Beast.
Nope.
Cheetah.
Nope.
Lion Man.
Mm-mm. This is gonna make you so mad.
I've named so many things.
So mad. So mad.
So I really should know this.
Oh
right?
yeah. Especially the name is so obvious.
I mean, go fuck yourself. Is it Huntress?
No.
Like the Golden Age Huntress?
No. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, shit. I wrote down Golden Age Huntress. Yeah. Unless you get it exactly right.
I don't know if it was Jeopardy rules.
Yeah. What is? Yeah, you've never said what is, so you've never gotten this right.
Damn it. Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are they Earth-based?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know, but I can tell you pretty quickly.
Okay. And by that, I guess I mean, like, are they human?
Oh. I would say they are. They're human. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, the litter box thing, like, Panther.
No, so close.
Takitani.
No. Yeah, they are from Earth.
Lord.
They're female.
I haven't said Catwoman, but it's not Catwoman.
No. That would really upset you.
That would be insane.
Well, also, like, Catwoman doesn't have a sash.
No, I mean, there's so many costumes. I mean, what the fuck? They're female, and it's not Catwoman, Vixen, Cheetah, or Panther.
Nope.
But it's animal.
Yep.
There's a sash.
Mm-hmm.
They're ripped. Giganta.
No.
Fuck.
They are very big, though.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. They're like 7 feet tall and 300 pounds. Yeah.
And it's not Barda.
Nope. Incorrect.
7 feet tall, 300 pounds. A
Yeah.
woman, and I can't think of who it is. Who am I? I have no idea.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I've named so many characters that I think I've satisfied my like DC cred, but now I just need to know who this is.
They're from Brazil.
Fuerza?
Nope.
It's not fire. Oh, is it Yara Flor? No.
Nope.
7 feet tall.
They were part of a group called the Crusaders.
Oh, fuck. No,
Their name
sorry.
is Jaguar.
I mean, you dove deep on this one.
Not even that deep.
Yes, you did.
The Crusaders are not that crazy.
Oh, yeah? Who are they?
Well,
Don't look at the wiki.
No, I'm sorry. I already read it. Jaguar is a college student from Rio de Janeiro, Maria de Guzman. Came to study in the United States like her aunt Maria, and Maria had the ability to morph into a powerful cat-like humanoid. After several adventures, she joined a group of heroes called the Crusaders. She eventually became romantically involved with teammate The Fly.
I was this close to being like, I should just name types of cats.
I mean, that probably would have been.
I was like, leopard. Like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Damn my pride.
Cat pride.
My ultimate sin.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's true. We had
We've
that
talked about
conversation.
this,
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Agreed.
I mean, I couldn't have guessed more things and gotten it wrong.
I
I couldn't have guessed more basically correct things
Yeah.
and gotten it wrong.
Which of you residents got that? Bruno, were you looking at a Jaguar book at the time?
We can't move these things. Just the idea, like, for some reason, it's just I don't know why my character for Bruno is that, like, nothing moves in the store.
Oh, jeez, I can't get rid of these books.
Or it's more that, like, you're like, this thing's going to sell like hotcakes. Order 300 of them.
Don't take his lucky books.
Come on.
Let us know if you got that clue, right? I want to know.
Yeah, good sentence. Well done.
Yeah, nailed it.
Really stumbling across the finish line here.
Maybe you want to send us.
This is like when you see like a marathon runner like shit their pants and someone has to carry them the last like 100 meters.
All the point is that I crossed the finish line.
Yeah. So
by that I also came. Or you can send us a question for next week's episode.
Yeah. So next week, the book that we're reading is.
Which one is it?
Okay. Well, I mean, you haven't picked the last one yet because we're waiting for that poll to finish.
Oh, that's right.
So next week's,
yes,
I'll tell you because I wrote it down because you told me what it is.
Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter, Volume 2, number 24.
That's right.
It's a Chaco heavy issue.
Yes, baby.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
So send your questions about Martian Manhunter, about Chacos.
Yes.
Yeah, anything like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You can do so through our various social media platforms like our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our Twitter,
at Dr. DC,
Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast.
Of course, our email,
drdcpodcast@gmail.com.
Go on to our subreddit,
r/Dr_DC.
The duck phone is always open.
208-917-3238.
We got a voicemail today. Let's get more of them.
Yeah.
208-917-DCEU. If you're
nasty.
And you can go to our website,
drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
Of course, we want more of those 5-star reviews. We like reading them on the show.
Yeah, if they're not on iTunes or Facebook, take a snapshot. Get out your camera.
Yeah, take a Polaroid and
put the weird like cape curtain thing over your head. And explode the flash thing.
Yeah.
Take an old-timey picture. We'll stand real still for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then send that in so that we know that it happened. Because we don't get notifications if it's not from iTunes or Facebook.
You can actually mail that to 301 HOGE Hogue Street in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada. Y1A 1V8.
Yeah.
That's right.
Baby.
I want a print review mailed to us.
I would love that.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
You never get mail anymore.
Dearest Dr. DC.
It has been a fortnight since the last review I'd sent.
I fear perhaps this may be the last review conveyed to you.
I may quite soon succumb to the scat.
Squabbity boo.
Oh no.
Boo.
Oh yeah. Dot.
And then like brackets in the mood resumes.
In the mood was the thing, wasn't it?
Jazzily yours.
Fitzgerald Lee. And if you want more content and want to give me money, please. Join our Patreon.
Patreon.com/DrDC. There's a $1, $5, $7 level. There you get access to the Discord at all levels. That's our exclusive
Discord
fun
channel.
Discord channel. There's lots to talk about. It's a real fun time over there.
Yeah.
There are bonus episodes every week. There's video content. There's theme polls. There's all sorts of fun stuff. So go check that out. And it supports us.
And sometimes you get those videos every week, and sometimes you get them in a big pile out of nowhere.
Because I figured out the technical issue.
What was the issue?
Well, technically the issue still exists, but I found a workaround.
Oh, okay.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get all of that stuff, but if you're still just like, you just want to fucking gorge on content.
All right.
You got a whole other podcast.
Let's say you have a normal amount of content in a day.
Yeah, like you
realize that it's
eight
like
amounts of content.
It's 8 contents. And maybe other people only have 3 in a day.
Yeah. Whatever. You want more. We've got some more for you.
That's right. Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch. Richard and I are rewatching every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We talk about behind the scenes stuff. We do real world monster lore. We've had some great guests, some involved in the show, some fans, comedians, all sorts of stuff.
I thought you were going to be like, we've got some great guests, some not so much.
Yeah, we've had some great guests. We've had some fucking shit guests.
Yeah.
Listen,
decide.
Listen, I'll be straight with you. Some of the guests suck.
But only you can find out by listening.
Wow, that takes me back to early days of this podcast.
Oh, when all of them were bad?
No, I didn't mean that the guests were actually bad.
Just
it
the show
that
was.
Someone used to repeatedly complain about a guest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
Barry Allen,
Cashing
cashing
checks.
checks all over the country. Those of you who've been listening from the beginning are going to love that I just called that back.
Oh, love it.
That's
so
for
much.
you.
Well, with that, zip, chow, chow.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.